Genske from Silverton and Hamilton County, won the $1 million prize. She's actually at the Ohio Lottery headquarters today in Cleveland. Her family lives in the Cleveland area. Joseph Costello from Englewood in Montgomery County, Southwest Ohio, won the first student full ride scholarship, which is room, board, tuition, and books for 4 years to college. Joseph is 14 years of age. Fran and I had the opportunity to meet Joseph yesterday. Joseph just completed the 8th grade. He is here with his parents, Colleen and Rich. We had the opportunity to meet them as well as Joseph's brother, Josh, and his sister, Chloe. So, Abigail, let me maybe start with you. I know when I called you last night, it was getting very close to the 7:29 time. Were you paying any attention to that at all? Were you planning on watching it or listening to it, or were you just going on? I know you were driving from Hamilton County, and you were pretty close, I think, to your parents' home when I actually reached you.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I did not know that the winner was being announced. Like you said, I was completely surprised when I got the call, and I still can't believe it. It was a crazy night.
Well, you told me you're getting close to your parents, and I said, well, I'll call you back, or you can call me back. But when you walked in, what was the reaction your parents had?
Well, I was screaming enough that my parents thought that I was crying and that something was wrong. And when I started yelling that I won $1 million and I was going to be a millionaire, they told me to calm down and make sure it wasn't a prank before I really started freaking out. So they grounded me a little bit.
Well, parents can do that. That's part of what parents do, I guess. When did you figure out that it was actually real then?
So while we were still talking, I could see notifications coming up on my phone that people were starting to follow me on Instagram and Facebook and message me. And I think that was it for me. I knew that my name had actually been announced and I had actually won the Vax-a-Million.
Yeah, so if I hadn't called you, it would have just come up, you'd had friends contact you then.
Yeah, most likely.
So did you grow up in the Cleveland area?
I went to high school in the Cleveland area, so Shaker Heights High School for 4 years. And my parents are still here, so still come back and visit sometimes.
Yeah. Michigan State, you went there, right?
Yes, just graduated May 2020.
All right. Well, fantastic. Well, we'll come back to you. I'm sure the news media will have some questions for you. And we'll go to Joseph. Joseph, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'm doing well, and you looks like you guys got up early and you were doing what? Good Morning America, Today Show. That's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah.
So, Joseph, why don't you tell everybody how you found out about it? Who told you?
My dad was driving me home from youth group, and he didn't want to tell me, so he kept it as a surprise when I got home. So, people from the governor's office, I guess, told me that I had won the lottery scholarship.
And Colleen, when I called you, I think you were just leaving work.
Yes.
And
yeah.
What was your first reaction?
Well, my first reaction was I thought maybe I was listening to your voice and it was a taped message. The more we talked, the more I realized it was really you live. And I was really thankful at that moment that there was a bench nearby because I needed to sit down and sort of, like Abby said, ground myself a little to absorb the information you were sharing.
So what day when did Joseph get the shot itself?
It was
Joseph,
Saturday.
this past Saturday?
Yes.
And then who entered Joseph? Did Joseph do it, or did you do it, or?
I did. Yeah, I entered all of our family members on Sunday before the deadline.
On Sunday, huh?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. Well, we'll come back to you guys and hang in there, and I'm sure the news media will have some questions for you. But Fran, I really enjoyed having the opportunity to meet your family and some of your neighbors last night. It was a fun night for us. I'm sure a surprising night, at least for you guys. Oh,
absolutely.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks.
So let me just go through a couple things here, and then we'll get to questions. The winners were selected, and the drawing conducted, of course, by the Ohio Lottery, overseen by the Ohio Auditor of State. Drawing was on Monday, May 24th. 2,758,470 Ohioans entered the drawing by the point of time it was cut off. Drawing to win $1 million prize. 104,386 were signed up by midnight, those aged 12 to 17, to enter the drawing for a college scholarship. The entry period now for our next Vax-a-Million drawing ends May 30th, 2021 at 11:59. So again, May 30th coming up for that deadline. Ohio Vax-a-Million is an opt-in program, meaning you not only need your shot, but you, of course, need to actually go in. You're not automatically entered. If you've been entered, you're in for all the drawings that will be coming up. It takes less than 2 minutes to enter online at OhioVax-a-Million.com. That's OhioVax-a-Million.com. Those without internet access can also enter by phone at 1-833-4-ASK-ODH. That is 1-833-427-5634. Once you enter, your entry will be carried over through all the drawings. As I said, you don't need to submit your name each week. The entry list will be reviewed. All duplicate entries are removed each week. In addition, any winner will be removed from the eligible draw list for subsequent drawings. Vaccination records will then, of course, be verified for winners. If you're an Ohio resident who is vaccinated in another state, you are still eligible. You'll need, of course, to present some proof of vaccinations. Winners will be announced next week, next Wednesday, 7:29 a.m., just like we did it, p.m., just like we did it this week. So the next announcement will take place on Wednesday, June 2nd, and will continue each Wednesday until June 23rd. Let me make an announcement about the Wolstein Center. Been very successful. We did extend it to 12 weeks. We will be heading into our final week then beginning next Tuesday. So I want to announce that the Wolstein Center will be offering the Pfizer vaccine during the clinic's 12th and final week. Pfizer will be what will be offered. The clinic's last day of operation will be Monday, June 7th. Pfizer is the only vaccine approved for those ages 12 and up. So if you're a parent who has been thinking about bringing your child to the Wolstein Center for their vaccination, now is the time. Of course, there's also close to 2,000 other sites around the state of Ohio. Not all give the Pfizer, but certainly many, many do. Going back now to the Wolstein Center, been very successful. The process to get in and out the door here has been fast. It's been efficient for both young people and adults. Those who receive their first dose of the Pfizer at the Wolstein Center before the clinic closes will be scheduled to receive their second dose at an area discount drug location. Free transportation also continues. Free transportation in Cuyahoga County is available by calling 211 in Cuyahoga County. Youth ages 12 to 17 must have consent from and be accompanied by a parent or legal guardian to be vaccinated at the Wolstein Center. Parking is free. Ohio's mass vaccination clinic, the Wolstein Center, is open 7 days a week. Open now. Walk-ins are welcome from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. or vaccination appointments can be reserved at gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov. That's gettheshot.coronavirus.ohio.gov or by calling 833-4ASK-ODH. So our main purpose today for the press conference is to hear from our winners. And so we will now open it up for any press inquiries.
Governor, today's first question is from Andy Chow at Ohio Public Radio and Television.
Hi, everybody. A question for both of the winners. What role did the lottery play in your decision to get the vaccine? Did you get the vaccine after the lottery was announced, or had you already been vaccinated beforehand? And what do you think in general just about the idea of this lottery?
So Abby, we'll just start with you, I think.
Yeah, so I actually got the vaccine before the idea of the Vax-a-Million was announced. I got my first Moderna vaccine shot the first week that I was allowed to in Ohio. And I think the second part of your question was just my opinion on this, and I think it was a great idea. Just hearing the numbers of how many people signed up just because of this Vax-a-Million idea, it's clearly working, and I think that's great.
So Colleen and Rich and Joseph, you guys can take a shot at that one, at Andy's question.
Yes. So my husband and I were previously vaccinated. He was in February, right? Because he's a teacher. Yeah. And then my vaccines were complete in April. We had intended to get all of our children vaccinated by the end of this month, but because of the initial entry deadline for the contest, we pulled that date forward and made sure that everyone was vaccinated. So it did accelerate the timing for us, and we were excited about the opportunity, and it definitely influenced our decision to get it in the time frame that we got it.
So Colleen, another interesting thing, you are an engineer, correct?
Yes, I'm a chemical engineer.
Okay, you and Abby both. So that's great. Rich, you teach school, right?
Yes. Yes.
That's great.
Montgomery County. Yes.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go to the next question.
Next question is from Josh Rotenberg at Spectrum News.
Yeah, this question is for both the winners. What has this past 24 hours or less been like for you guys? Has it actually sank in that you won $1 million and you won a college scholarship?
Abby, you want to start?
Sure. Just to sum it up in one word, a whirlwind, and it absolutely has not processed yet. I am still digesting it, and I like to say that it feels like this is happening to a different person. I cannot believe it.
Joseph?
Yeah, I'm still not really processing it that well, but it's okay.
Excited.
Yeah. Very excited.
Next question is from Jim Province at the Toledo Blade.
Governor, this question's for you. You made the calls to let them personally know yesterday. Do you plan to do that with all of the winners? And did you feel a little bit like Ed McMahon?
Well, let me just say that calling someone and telling them that they've won $1 million is a great thing, and calling a family and telling them that they have a scholarship paid for 4 years is also fun. So yeah, Fran and I enjoyed it a lot. We were able to go to Joseph's home and later after the call. So yeah, it was fun. I had told our team, don't let me know the winner. We kept, this is, very tightly held. And I said, don't tell me the winner until I think 5 or 6 o'clock last night. And that's what they did. And they had told me the general area of the state where the two winners were living. So, but yeah, it was a fun night.
Next question is from Jesse Balmert at the Cincinnati Enquirer.
Yeah, Jim, let me just finish. I forgot the rest of your question, but yeah, I mean, I hope to call the winners. That would be my intent, at least, in the future.
Hey, so thank you. Congratulations to both of the winners. I guess my question for Abby is, a $1 million is a lot of money. Have you thought of anything that you might purchase with it?
I haven't thought a ton about it. I know I will be donating to some charities, but I don't really know the specifics yet. And then further than that, I have not really thought it through. I did come up to Cleveland from Cincinnati to look at a used car. And I think buying a used car is still in my future. So that's about as far as I've gotten.
Next question is from Noah Blundo at Hannah News Service.
Hi, good morning. This question is for maybe the lottery director. I'm wondering kind of how much entry maintenance you had to do in terms of people trying to get in duplicate entries and things like that. Did a lot of people try to take more than one bite at the apple? And apologies, that's my daughter in my lap. She's doesn't like my kids.
Pat, you want to take that?
Sure. Surprisingly, there was less duplicates than we originally thought. Traditionally, in draws like this, where you have an opt-in, you have between 25 and 40% that you have duplicates. You have names that are entered that are just not real names, Daffy Duck and Donald Duck and so forth. But in this case, when we deduped our whole database, it was relatively simple, and we had a great process in place and worked with many agencies to ensure that we were doing this properly. But we were pretty much down to 1% that we disqualified for duplications. And those duplications were primarily because people might have entered and said, Pat McDonald, and then they're, entered, oh, I should have put J. Patrick McDonald as your legal name. So there was not much nefarious activity going on. So we're very proud of Ohioans and what they have done to, register. And, it was a very clean database in my opinion.
Next question is from Laura Hancock at cleveland.com.
Hi, everyone. Congratulations. Joseph, I know that, it's a few years till you go to college, but I mean, what are your kind of goals? Like, where would you like to go to school? What would you like to study? And then my question for Abby would be, what kind of engineer you are? And obviously you're not planning to quit work. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that. Yeah, thank you.
I don't really know what I would want to study, but I know what some schools I might want to go to, like Miami University or Ohio State University, if that answers your question.
Cool.
So I'm a mechanical engineer. I got my undergraduate degree at Michigan State University. And this past fall, I started my master's in aerospace engineering. Like you said, I'm definitely not quitting my job. I love it at GE. I love the people I work with. And as for future plans, I'm probably going to invest most of it.
Did you say GE is where you work?
GE Aviation, yep.
GE, okay, cool.
Our next question is from Adrian Robbins at WCMH in Columbus.
Hi, thank you so much for doing this today. My question is for both the winners. I assume that you're both very happy with your decision to get vaccinated. For some people who have maybe put their decision to roll up their sleeve off a little bit and haven't signed up for the Vax-a-Million lottery, what would be your message to them?
I could take that one, but maybe Joseph, you want to say something too. But what I would say is it was an easy decision for our family. We've been thrilled about the availability of the vaccine.
Yes.
So, for us, we always knew we wanted to do it. And the experience for the kids was a good one. They didn't have any side effects afterwards. They had a little arm soreness for about 24 hours, but that was it. So from my perspective, it's a win-win situation. If you get vaccinated, you'll have resistance against COVID-19. And then if you enter the contest, you could win either $1 million, or if you're a student, a free ride to college in the state of Ohio. So I would encourage anyone out there to go ahead and just do it. You don't have anything to lose and everything to win.
That's true. Joe, you have any thoughts?
No.
Okay.
Nothing to add.
Yeah, just to build off of that, I originally got vaccinated just to protect friends, family, relatives, anyone that I was going to come into contact with. And the Vax-a-Million was an easy decision to sign up for, and obviously a good decision for me.
Next question is from Madeline Ashley at WDTN in Dayton.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations on your wins. First of all, I'd like to ask, I can't remember if we were told, Abby, I just was kind of, for my story, wondering how old you are. And then for Joseph, yesterday we saw that he said he might also want to go to UD. And I know that that is a private school and that the scholarship was for public school. So I don't know if that would be a question to answer for from Joseph's family or with the lottery. But that's my question.
Yeah, let me take that.
Sure.
This is going to be money put into a 529 account. We pegged the amount of money based on the cost of a highest state university school. That's the amount of money that we will put in, which would cover room and board and books and tuition. And that money should grow. But I told Joseph's family yesterday that it's our intent that is money that they can apply to any college. So that is their choice. When we talked about state university, we wanted to make sure that any state university the child went to would be covered. And we pegged the amount of money based upon the highest state university cost, so that whatever state university they picked, it would be totally covered. If they select to take that money and go, for example, to the University of Dayton or somewhere else, they have every right to do that. And, we support whatever their choice is. Fran and I have been through college searches with 8 children and have watched as many of our grandchildren have done it. And it's a great process. And ultimately, everybody has to make their own decision. What's best for the child, best for the student. The student ultimately makes that decision along with the parents. So all we're doing is facilitating that or helping that, but we don't want in any way interfere in that choice.
Thank you, Governor DeWine. And then Abby, I was just curious, your age.
Yep, I'm 22.
Awesome. Thank you.
Our next question is from Jim Oddie at WHIO in Dayton.
Jim.
Again, I'd like to congratulate the winners. I wanted to ask for both of you, Abby and the Costello family, in the last 24 hours, how you have been inundated perhaps with those people who've come, and we're one of them, have come and wanted to talk with you, and how you plan to handle that in the future, because the celebrity follows you wherever you go. From this point on, you will be known as the first winners of Vax-a-Million. Abby, how do you plan to handle it? The Costello family, how do you plan to handle it?
So last night, I pretty much just ignored my phone. This was going to be the first media event that I did. And going forward, I still don't really have a plan. Still working through that with just the press and Governor DeWine's department.
So we were contacted by Governor DeWine's staff, and they visited us last night. And so that was really helpful to be able to speak with the people on his staff and those individuals. They gave us our options and helped us understand the process. And so we were able to speak with some of the local press here in Dayton last night when Governor DeWine visited with his wife, Fran. So it was a special opportunity, and we wanted to take that. We've had a lot of requests, and just like Abby, we're not responding to all of them right now. So I think we're going to take it as it comes, but I think Joseph will be pretty much ready to go offline for a little while by noon today. So I'm not sure how many more we'll be doing today.
But it's been exciting, GMA and then the Today Show, CNN. You know, there's certain, activity that we do want to enjoy. It's a special opportunity to be able to do that. But any thoughts, Joe, on that? You're looking at?
Not really. Just don't. I think we've reached out to enough of that company, so I think we'll call it a day on that.
Understood.
Our next question is from Lindsay Mills at WBNS in Columbus.
Hey guys, congratulations once again. Sort of piggybacking off of that last question, this was a unique
Lindsay, I think we've lost you.
We will come back to Lindsay. Next question is from Clay Lepard at WEWS in Cleveland.
Hi, everybody. Congratulations. Abby, how did your upbringing in Northeast Ohio and that environment over the years help shape your opinion and influence your decision to get the vaccine?
So I don't know if it's Northeast Ohio or just my parents, but vaccines have always been in my medical history, and it was a pretty easy decision to go and get the vaccine at the first chance that I could.
Next question is from Jackie Orozco at WSYX in Columbus.
All right, can you guys hear me? Great. So what do you think, this question's for the governor, what do you think about all this national attention that the state is now getting because of the Vax-a-Million, and how other states are following suit because you guys are basically started this incentive of getting people vaccinated?
One of the things that's occurred in the last 15 months is governors have really talked to each other. They've shared ideas. I've been on the phone, I can't tell you how many times, with just regular calls with governors. Sometimes I've specifically reached out to governors. Sometimes my chief of staff has reached out to other chiefs of staff. So this exchange of information and trying to see what works is something that's gone on. It always goes on with governors. We have, as we say, the 50 laboratories of democracy, and we see what works in one area and other governors can copy it. And I do that all the time. So I don't think it's a surprise that when other governors, saw that this is working, they reached out to us for information. And as always, we're very open, just as they're open to us. This is an area where it doesn't matter whether it's Democrat, Republican governors. We're all in this. We're all in this trying to get out of the this pandemic that we're in, and we all share ideas. So nothing really unusual about that.
Next question is from Jess Harden at mahoningmatters.com.
Hi there. Congrats to you all again. My question is, one of the difficulties in Ohio's vaccine rollout has been convincing young folks like yourselves to get vaccinated. Will you be encouraging your peers to get vaccinated, maybe those who've been skeptical or, just haven't done it yet?
Probably not, because I think they can make that decision themselves, but yeah.
I would encourage anyone to get the vaccine. If winning $1 million isn't incentive enough, I don't really know what would be.
Next question is from Dave Mitchell at WXIX in Cincinnati.
Congratulations, everyone. Abby, tell us about your time here in the Cincinnati region and kind of how long you've been here, and if what your favorite part about Cincinnati and in your community is.
So I moved to Cincinnati at the beginning of the year for my new job. Due to COVID, I haven't gotten to explore the city as much as maybe I would have during more normal times, but I have gotten to visit a couple restaurants, gone to a couple parks, which has been beautiful. And overall, I've just had an extremely positive experience with Cincinnati, and I really enjoy living there.
Next question is from John London at WLWT in Cincinnati.
Governor, a question for you, a two-part question. I was reading an editorial of yours this morning, and I would like you to recount what role the old Bill Veck quote played in convincing you to do this idea, and why do you think there's such a strong response in rural areas to Vax-a-Million as opposed to urban areas?
Yeah, John, I missed the first question. I got the second one, the rural. What was the first one?
The first part is about the editorial that I read this morning that you wrote, and you referenced an old Bill Veck quote, which I thought, and how that did that tip the balance to go ahead with Vax-a-Million?
Yeah, well, I'll start with the rural. I don't think it should be a surprise that we've seen the biggest increase in the rural areas. It's interesting. I was talking to our data person, Jeff Brown, this morning, and he said, I said, just tell me where we are. And he says, look, we see an increase in every region, in virtually every county. Virtually every county. We see an increase among all demographics. But I don't think it should shock us because the rural has been the slowest uptake. So it has much more room to grow than the urban areas. So although we've got an increase in the urban areas, the bigger increase has been in the rural areas. And I don't think that should shock us because that's where the growth could actually occur. And we're very happy to see that. You know, it's so very important that every area of the state, every county, every community, you know, have a high level of vaccination so that we can keep this virus down. The Bill Veck quote, you know, Bill Veck was someone who, you know, owned the Indians and the White Sox and I guess the old Browns and St. Louis Browns. And, you know, a number of years ago, I read a book that he wrote, you know, it's called Veck is in Rec. And I actually gave that book a few years ago to our son, Brian, who runs a baseball team. And Veck was a great promoter. But I always remembered a quote that I'd read from him. And that quote basically was to the effect that, you know, I could give 1,000 beers away to people in the stands. They'd drink it and go back and watch the ball game. If I gave the 1,000 beers to one person, you know, then people would be talking about it. And so as we kind of looked at this, you know, I felt we needed to create some excitement. And I thought $1 million and a scholarship over a 5-week period of time, 5 different times, would create a lot of excitement and would create a lot of interest. And, you know, this decision also came, frankly, directly out of my visits and Fran's visits to vaccination sites around the state. And I always try to listen. And Fran and I listen a lot. And, you know, as we talk to people who are being vaccinated, it just became clear that some people, they were going to get it or might get it. They weren't against it. It just wasn't any sense of urgency. So, if you look at, for example, the example of Joseph, it sounds like what the Costello family is saying is Joseph would have gotten it, but it sounds like the time when he got it was moved up. And we know, as we're trying to deal with this virus, that the faster we can get people vaccinated, the better it is. Because once someone is vaccinated and they reach their full immunity, not only won't they get it, but they're not going to spread it. And so, we have really two goals. One is to get more people vaccinated, but the other is to speed up the people who might be getting vaccinated anyway, but move up their time. So, all of that kind of went into the calculation, as I outlined in the op-ed piece that we wrote for the New York Times. Member of my staff, Ann O'Donnell, who's been with me for many, many years, with me in the Senate, we were on a conference call and literally kind of pulling our hair out. What else can we do? I mean, we were seeing these cases the vaccinations, just continue to drop. And we had to turn it around. And what this did ultimately was to turn it around. But she threw out the idea, and she said it kind of sheepishly, like, well, maybe kind of crazy idea, but what if we did a lottery? And we talked about probably for no more than 30 seconds and kind of moved on. But then I just started thinking about it and trying to figure out, well, what can we do? And it sounded like a crazy idea, but the more I thought about it, and I literally did go back to the Bill Veeck quote, something I've always remembered, and that this would create some excitement. And this is the way to create excitement and put the focus back on the vaccination, and maybe encourage some people, to get vaccinated, and encourage other people who eventually would have got vaccinated to do it sooner. So, very, very happy with where we are.
Governor, I think we've reached our last reporter in line for questions, and it is Sarah Mervosh from the New York Times.
Hi, Abby and the Costello family. Congratulations and thanks for your time. My question is specifically, what were you doing yesterday? What was the narrative of your day yesterday before you got the call from the governor in the governor's office? Where were you? Where exactly were you when you got the call? And for the Costello family, what was it like having the governor and Fran over to your house? And what did you guys do while they were there?
Abby, you want to take that first?
Yeah. So I live in Cincinnati, but my parents live in Cleveland, Shaker Heights in specific. And I was on my way from Cincinnati to Cleveland when I got the call, which I thought was a prank call initially. And it was a Wednesday night that I'm never going to forget.
And Abby, were you going there to buy a new car or a used car?
I was, yeah. I mentioned that there was a car that I was going to look at tonight. And that was one of the reasons why I was coming up last night.
Thank you.
So I was the one that got the call from the governor, and yesterday was a pretty normal day. What was kind of fun about the narrative of the day was I was having a lunch with my colleagues, and we were talking, and I said, today my life could change. And they said, why? I said, well, I entered myself and all of our family members into the Vax-a-Million lottery, so one of us could win it. And we were looking on our phones to see what time the drawing was going to be. And then after that, I actually forgot about the time. And I was working late and walking out of the office, and I got the call. I looked down at the phone. I didn't recognize the number, but I thought, okay, well, I knew where the kids were, and maybe they weren't at home, so it might have been somebody calling me about them. And I picked up the phone, and it was the governor. He started talking. At first, I didn't think it was really him. I thought maybe it was a taped message that I was listening to, and I didn't know what it was about. But then once we started going back and forth and talking, I realized it was him. And so that was my part of the story. And then I reached out to my husband.
Right.
And so.
Yeah, I was doing some schoolwork, drinking a coffee, and I got the call from Colleen, and he said, "You sitting down?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sitting down." And she, started telling me what had happened, and the excitement level through the phone, everything else. I thought the people around me at the coffee shop were going to hear it. She was so excited, and then said, I said, "Well, listen, let me go get the boys." They were a youth group, and finally got them out of there and brought them back, and it was just so exciting. So that was what happened. And having the governor's wife out and to the house last night, we were on the front lawn. Neighbors came out and visited. It was a lot of fun to interact with them and just get to know them a little bit. Real meaningful, just a memorable night. Let's face it, anyone would say that it's the kind of thing that just happens, maybe once in your lifetime, probably not.
Mm-hmm.
So in light of that, there was just a lot of excitement around it. Yeah.
Yeah, we really enjoyed talking with them.
How about you,
What
Joe?
about you?
Talk about you. What was your experience?
You were
Just
your first
the
day of
same.
summer vacation, right?
Yeah.
And
I didn't know like what it was because my dad hadn't told me it when he picked me up. I guess he wanted it to be a surprise, so I found out by the people from the governor.
Right.
They
We were riding home, and I said, "Joe, just it's good news, but no questions. Just look out the window."
yeah.
Yeah. And the governor's staff member broke the news to Joseph in our driveway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Joseph, thank you very, very much. Rich, Colleen, thank you. Abby, thank you very much. We appreciate you all being on here. Let me just close by saying that Monday, of course, is Memorial Day. It is a day that we remember all our family members, all those who have died. Fran and I go to 3 separate cemeteries in Greene County and decorate graves of our family members. We also, of course, particularly remember those who have served in the armed forces of our country. We remember and think about those who are out serving today around the world, and we thank them. I want to personally thank them on behalf of the people of the state of Ohio, thank them for their service. We also certainly remember those who have died in service to our country. And we thank them and their families for the great, great sacrifice so that we could have the freedom that we do. Fran's Uncle Ralph was killed in the Korean War, buried at St. Paul Cemetery, one of the cemeteries that we go to on Memorial Day. So we remember all those who have died. We hope everyone has a good weekend. Thank you very much.